A little bit of the song Hide in Your Shell, and a little commentary. Hide in your shell, 'cause the world is out to please you for air right. What will you gain making your life a little longer? Heaven or hell, was the journey cold with caving eyes and steel, sheltered behind, painting your mind and playing joker? Too beautiful to listen to the stranger, too beautiful to put your pride in danger. You're waiting for someone to understand you, but you got demons in your closet, and you're screaming out to stop it, saying life's begun to cheat me, friends are out to beat me. Scramble to what you scramble for. Don't let the tears linger on inside. And now for a short time you gain control. If I could help you, if I could help you, if I could help you, just let me know. Just let me show you the nearest signpost and get your heart back up on the road. If I can help you, if I can help you, if I can help you, just let me know. If I can help you, just let me know. So in Canada, it would seem, and I've been talked about this over and over again, but it just becomes more blatant, this medical assistance in dying, which is basically medical murder. And so the latest statistic, and I think this one's going to capture a bit of intention. I hope it can wake people up from their sleep so that they can see exactly what is going on. So the young lad was 26. He died December 30th. They had stopped it before, because the only problem is this guy had depression that was, of course, treatment, which is, you have a brain disorder and you need to take pills. No, that just makes it worse. That is not what depression is. That is not what. You do not have a chemical imbalance in your brain. That is just nothing but public relations for pharmakia, the occult sciences. So the 26-year-old, no other problem, he went to Dr. Death. This Dr. Elaine Wiebe, Dr. Death. She's credited, I've read 400, I've heard 1,000. And she gloats about it. She thinks it's wonderful. And she also does abortions. Years ago, I had one when I was 18. Now, if I knew what I knew now, do you think I'd ever have done that? And the baby, it was but it was still, in my mind, it was life. I killed life. Now they do them pretty much full term. This woman would have been just a shoo-in the concentration. She would have done really good with Mengele, because it's the same energy. How people can't see it, because that's the mind control, right? People are mind controlled to not to put blinkers on. When I start talking about it, I can see them go, I don't want to talk about that. If you talk about that, we can't talk about that. Well, they must know what they're doing if they do that. That's compassion, isn't it? No, it isn't. It's medical murder by the medical mafia, right? That and she's, this kind woman. She's a serial killer. That is a serial killer. This is not compassion. Do you know, there were ways, since I worked in the system, people that were on their way to dying, you kept them comfortable, right? You cared for them. Just nobody remember what that is? To care for somebody, to actually care. to care about their life story, to care about who they are, this little divine spark of God that's come down here for a little brief experience, right? We care. I have seen people come alive with care. The people that were, most of the people, as I've said, that I worked with out in the community, in my therapist as a nurse therapist, these were trauma survivors. We all are trauma survivors because we live in an MK Ultra world where they want you traumatized. Now they'll just fucking kill you. What do you think the consequences of being abused is? Depression. What do you think happens when you take away every social determinant? Canada's there, right? There is no social safety net. And if you think there is, there isn't. Right? If you think they're government fucking health care, oh, give me a fucking break. Emergency care? Yes. My daughter told me a situation, a friend of hers, head-on collision, baby died, their toddler died, the mom's in sick. Yes. Emergency physicians rock when it comes to that. This other shit, this is nothing but a death cult. This is, if you want to understand Germany in the Second World War, before the Second World War, you want to understand how Hitler came to power, you're watching it in Canada. The same legislations are being enacted to kill people. We have legislation that now treatment is death. And we are going to make life so hellish for you because it is a technocracy. I watched it turn into one where the social determinants mean nothing, right? If the person's being abused or somebody stole this or they're being beat, that has no bearing on it. This is what these people believe. I used to, if the management could have seen me. I would stand on my fucking soapbox right in the middle of the emergency department and give lessons to doctors on how to have fucking compassion. To see the people as human beings. And they don't like the marginalized. They've been trained not to. They don't like the elderly, right? They don't like the marginalized. They don't like the addicts. They don't like the homeless. They don't like those people. They think you're there through your own fault, not that it hasn't been socially engineered to get you exactly where you are. That's the whole point. It's a death cult. These are occult sciences that you're seeing, and you're seeing technocracy. I didn't know what the name was, the term was. Now that I understand technocracy and transhumanism, I saw what went into CODA, the place I used to work at. Great place. It used to be a great place. It used to actually help people, right? Help people to recover. Did we do that now? No. You know what they did? They went in, they took over that company, they chopped it into little pieces, and they made it that you could maybe have 2 or 3 visits because it was a recovery model. They took the recovery model, bastardized it, that people recover and then you don't. These are fucking machines. You tell them what to do. If the machine doesn't do it, you're not involved. Human connection had nothing. You break the human connection. That's what's happened there. There is no human connection anymore. They've broken the social bonds, right? And it's all done. It's all engineered. None of it's accident. None of it. And they took much of the MK Ultra that's happening in Canada and around the world was actually honed in the death camps in Germany. And you can get on me like the people didn't. Yes, there were death camps. I worked with people that were in the death camps. I had one patient, she used to come in all the time. She was in her 90s. She was in one of those hellish fucking retirement homes. This one was preem. It like the long-term care end at the beginning of COVID. Oh man, I think there were 77 kills in that one. Yeah, with their protocols for COVID, right? But this woman would tell stories. She'd tell me stories because of course she had post-traumatic stress, complex post-traumatic stress. That's what the breathing was all about, right? She would go into panic mode where babies were born and they just fed them to the dogs. This is the fucking energy you're working with. So if you think, now they make it outlawed that you can't fucking, if you don't have a place to live, well, you are a fucking non-human and you can't camp, you can't do this, you can't do that, we can't do this, we can't do that. Who are these people? And why are you listening to them? Tell me, has life gotten better since the trigger, the pandemic? When are you going to stand up? because they're coming for you. They're going to make life so hellish that you won't want to live it. And then they're going to allow you, 2027, and they're already doing it, the loopholes. If you were to look at them all, we don't really know how many people Weebies killed. But she seems to enjoy it. Yes. You know, I thought it was okay for people that were terminally ill. I really didn't think. I thought morally as a society we had more moral gumption. Obviously we don't. We've been infantilized, turned into little children, and then slaughtered and had everything, you know, stolen. You know, they're coming out with now, when these dickheads get back sitting after the little break after Christmas, because they're so fucking special. So no, they're not. No. The equity taxes on your home. So you could have your home paid off for all you older people out there, right? And maybe you're on a very limited income. You're, you know, just making ends meet. Maybe go hitting the food bank, right? And then you can't pay this equity tax on your home. And it's not really a seller's market right now. What happens then? Well, they could eventually come in and take your home, you know. They could seize it. That's the whole point. They want it for their big buddies, the corporate fucking housing, because they want you in 15-minute cities renting, right? In Canada, they're after everything you've got. And I don't see any slowdown. And this is what I have to say, okay? We see all this ugliness. It's all around us. If we don't say anything, right, we become a part of that. We are part. If you don't speak out against evil, then you are actually aiding and abetting evil. And this is a fight. To fight it head on, you can't. It's a spiritual war. Which side are you going to pick? This is a test. Which way what are you going to do? Are you going to, you know, hide in your shell? Pretend it's not happening until they come for you or come for your children, or your 12-year-old goes out, right, and gets euthanized. Or human trafficking, child trafficking, number one moneymaker out there. So this is the world we live in, and that we have to resist the evil that's all around us and be walking God's path, which is love. And looking around, you see many 20-year-olds they've been so propagandized, the younger generations, utterly propagandized, that they see no reason to live. They believe the world's ending. They've been, you know, the global warming and the this and the that. No. It's a narrative that has taken your perception. You start to be in these lower density frequencies, and they feed off you, literally, that energy field. And it keeps you controllable and malleable. To triumph over them is to develop and build your consciousness. We are conscious beings. This is the time to remember, right? So I will link in this a little article about Dr. fucking Death, who will never, you know, if you want to know what Nazism is, it's an energy. It's not a word. That's just a word to describe an evil energy force, because that's what it is. And it's running down the main streets of Canada, and people are so, they can't see it. That's the mind control aspect of it, right? And then one by Wise Quotes, one of my favorite. A little bit more so you understand and start to remember who the hell you are. Because once you remember who you are, once you see the filth, the evil, and you start to discuss it openly and be truthful, and that you build your consciousness and you go inside and you work with your trauma, right? You have to face it. You have to face your darkness. You have to be there in it. You have to sit in it. And then, my friends, you know what you do? And I feel this. That's why I can't be in it. I feel it so strongly. But I now know how to self-regulate myself and to triumph over. Know thyself, triumph, be strong in the face of all that's going on. And if you see evil, let people know. Don't follow along with it. What they tell you to do, the beast system, do the opposite. right? And I'm not saying the people in it that they don't know. It's you're conditioned in it. It's in that subconscious conditioning, right? I have it. We all have it. We just work to recondition ourselves. Okay, so don't hide in your shell. Be all you can be. Triumph. Triumph over evil. That's what it's all about. But you have to go in before you can triumph over evil. Okay, take care. Have a good Sunday.